Tool Tuesday, first one ever, and we are going to be discussing the tool, what can I add to my life? So one of the energies I played in a lot for many years was the energy of overwhelm, where I would say, I'm so overwhelmed. I have so much to do. I don't have enough time. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't have enough time. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. You get it. That's where I lived a good part of my life. And then in 2011, I started just playing with the tools from Access Consciousness. And this was one of the tools that a coach gave me of what can I add to my life? Now that seems a little bizarre, don't you think? Like, I'm overwhelmed. I already feel like I have way too much on the go. And I'm supposed to be adding to my life? Like, I thought she was nuts. Anyway, turns out she's not. Because one of the things that we often do is that we work so much better with way more on the go. Like, it's when we only, if you've ever had an hour to do one task, and it usually takes you an hour and a half. But if you have 50 tasks and you have an hour, you get them all done in 10 minutes. And this is how we operate. It is completely opposite of the way that we think we should be, but it is how we work best. The more, the better. And so with the lie that I used to buy of overwhelm, of where I was so overwhelmed, is one, I was pretending that I wasn't an infinite being. Because really, would an infinite being ever get overwhelmed about anything? No, not at all. Now, the other piece of it, and this is what I know now, all these years later, is that when I perceive that energy of overwhelm, I need to stop and look at what I'm doing, because often that energy for me is the awareness that somebody else could be doing what I'm doing. I know, this is crazy, and it is often what occurs. So when we have, maybe we're cleaning the house and we're making supper and we're putting the laundry away and we're sending an email and we're doing all of those things, but maybe every time you're doing the laundry piece, it's like, oh, I hate this. This is stupid. Why do I have to do it? Like, check in. Is there somebody else who can do it? Maybe there's somebody you can pay. Maybe there's other family members. But a lot of times that overwhelm energy is more of an awareness that it actually isn't for you to do whatever it is you're doing. So there's that piece, but also recognize you are an infinite being. So overwhelm is just a big fat lie that you use to distract yourself. And the question becomes, what can I add to my life today to complete this with ease right away? If it's something you're getting done, you're trying to get done, whatever it is you want to change. And you can just ask it like that. What can I add to my life today? To have more fun right away, to create more money right away, to have more orgasms right away, like whatever it is you would like more of, you can ask it. Or you could just ask, hey, what could I add to my life today? Yeah, and we're not looking for an answer. So when you ask that question, what can I add to my life today? We're not looking for you to answer it. It's just, can you perceive the energy and leave that up to the universe to deliver all of the different things? Now, it doesn't mean, of course, everything that comes your way that you should just ultimately add because you've asked the question and that's the way it is. That's not it at all. It's just about asking the question, being aware of the possibilities, and then asking questions about the possibilities. Like, hey, if I add this to my life, will it create the future I desire or decay the future I desire? So you're staying in question with everything, and ultimately you're reminding yourself that adding to your life will always create greater. Now, let's say it's something to do with, let's say you run a business, and it's something in the business that you're feeling overwhelmed with, and you're asking, okay, what can I add to my life today to change this right away? It doesn't mean that the thing that will show up will just be business related, or vice versa. If it's a family thing and you're asking, it might be a business thing that shows up. So don't kind of, glump it together and assume that if you're asking in one section, it's only that section that'll show up, because it's not. There's so many different ways that this will show up for you if you're just willing to be curious. Like, what can I add to my life today to change this right away? What can I add to my life today to actualize more money right away? What can I add to my life today to create greater on the planet right away? Like, if you just get curious, like what could I add? Like, what can I add to my life today to change this right away? Like, just truly curious about it. And then the possibilities will show up, because whatever you're asking for shows up. Not sure if you've noticed, but whatever you're asking for shows up. So if you've got stuff going on in your life that you don't love, you want to look at how are you asking for it? Because you're asking for it in some way. You're already, and it could be the focusing on what you don't want. We've all got a year or two or decades of training in that. And so it's just changing that habit. But ultimately, it's like, what can I add to my life today to change this right away? And knowing that it's not about being busy. So it's not about having 100 things on the go, and really glorifying busy. It's not that at all. It really is about not being bored. Bored, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but bored is not good for us. Bored often gets us in trouble. We are obsessive compulsive creators. And when we're bored, we become obsessive compulsive creators of crap. So the less bored you are, the more that you have going on that lights you up. So not again from the busy, but lights you up, the less for the drama and trauma you'll have, the less space you'll have for it. Like, truly, what can you be adding to your life today that would eliminate the drama trauma right away? Whew. Yeah. Now you can use the Access Consciousness clearing statement, which is theclearingstatement.com if you want more information about how it works, after you ask a question. So you could say, what can I add to my life today to change my money thing right away? Anything that doesn't allow me to receive that, be that, add it, I destroy and uncreate it all, right, wrong, good, bad, all 9 podpoc shorts, boys and beyonds. If you like, you do not have to though. You can just stay in like, what can I add to my life today? Yeah, and then train yourself when you get that energy of overwhelm or too much or bored, however it shows up for you. Train yourself to ask, what can I add to my life today to change this right away? Yeah, like what can I be adding here? Be curious, just curious. So there is your tool for this Tuesday, Tool Tuesday. Which is kind of a funny phrase because, tools are often kind of people who are, being silly or kind of idiots. Like we call them a tool, at least in Canada we do, probably North America. So Tool Tuesday sounds a little bit funny, and this is a whole different tool. This is a tool that you can go and create so much more in your life and your living, and what else might be possible with the more that you add, I wonder.